The last topic that we want to mention is model assumptions. Once you have a model that you feel is adequate, that explains the variation that you want, most of the variables are significant, then you want to check the assumptions. It's always good to use the residuals versus fitted values to check if there is non-constant or non-linearity in the data. These lines of code actually do that, predicting the fitted values. In that fit MB, the regression object, you have a bunch of different objects inside. So the fit MB is a regression object. You can see that there are coefficients, effects, model, rank, residuals. So you have the residual values in there. So those are the errors. Those residuals, you can get histograms on them. You can get different things to check whether they behave normally distributed. But one thing you can do is plot the residuals against the fitted values. Again, we have objects like residuals, but you also have the fitted values, which are the predicted values. These values right here can be used to plot the fitted versus the residuals, and that can show you if there's non-constant variation or something like that. If there is also non-linearity, that can show here easily. You can also plot the individual variables against the residuals, and that shows if there is non-linearity by variable. So again, you can do that with house age and square footage. That can help you. The normal QQ plot, you can use a QQ norm variable function with the residuals, and that basically shows if there's deviations from normality. And like I mentioned before, you can get a histogram of the residuals to make sure that you test whether the residuals are normal or not. Fortunately, you don't have to get all of these plots by yourself. You can use the plot function on the fit and the regression object, and that gets the plots for you. It gets a bunch of different plots, but you just have to discern which one, what these plots are telling you. But here you have a residuals versus fitted plot. That's the first one that you get. And then also you get the normal QQ plot in there. You get some fitted values by standardized residuals and leverage, which we haven't covered yet. But at least you can get those plots without having to do all of them. So conclusion from the plots is that there might be some outliers here, and there's specifically one big outlier that we have seen this. It's important to just check the data, make sure that it is not an error. Sometimes it might be preferable to just check the regression without that particular. If there's a very big outlier, we might want to check if that outlier is influencing the fit or the plane. So again, it's very important to investigate. So all of that is helpful. So I would expect that if you're analyzing a data set, it's important to take a look at whether the assumptions hold or whether there's something that doesn't make that much sense in the data.